Imperial business. Be on your way.
Earlier this year, I was going about my business in Skyrim, happily liberating Stormcloaks from the evil Empire with my little happy band of followers. Hunting deer, and bear, and being a good assassin and spy hunter. And of course, as only the Dragonborn can, killing dragons and absorbing their souls. When there was a call from the real world. It was my dad, asking us if I wanted to drive to Ireland in his new Jag. He was paying. Thanks, Dad. So I exited the game without saving. And we sped off in his new Jag on the way to Ireland. And as we made the ascent to the Connor Pass, crossing into the Dingle Peninsula, it was there that I realized that Skyrim had been forged in these lands. For its people and its landscape were intense and magnificent.
So where are we?
Dunbeg Fort,
Okay.
Dingle Peninsula.
Tell us a little bit about the place.
I'll have to read the leaflet to you, and you've
Right.
got it.
Okay.
It's a good day
It is.
for once.
Here we are driving down the Dingle Peninsula Road, making full use of the 5-litre V8 supercharged engine in the Jaguar. Excellent cornering, especially when wet. And at no point did anybody exceed the speed limit. Just like Skyrim, most of Ireland is covered by ancient monuments and stone-walled fortresses, made by ancient peoples in forgotten times, who had intrinsic building skills known as corbelling, where each stone overlays the last one slightly so it builds a domed room, capped off at the top with stones that are slightly larger. As you can tell, there is no wind inside the building, but there is outside, because this is Ireland, and when it's not raining, it's windy. When it's not windy, it's raining and windy. As you can see, the people that built this knew how to make stone walls very well. Here we have the garage, little area for keeping the horse and cart. Lovely curved wall leading into the garage, and a storage area or a guard's room of some kind near the entrance. There is no mortar anywhere in this entire structure. This is the main living area, much thicker walls and much higher too. And at first we thought this was a fireplace. It's actually an escape route. In times of danger, the local inhabitants would conceal themselves in the escape route, wait for trouble to pass before escaping into the hills. Here we have cheeky seagulls perched on top of the Jaguar,
Yeah, all good.
awaiting our return.
Hello. What are you doing? Hey?
This is Great Skellig Island. Unfortunately, we don't have the best tripod, and that's the best shot you're going to get. Apparently, they filmed the next Star Wars film on Great Skellig. But it's a big secret that all the locals are not allowed to tell anybody.
Yeah. Kind of works.
And here we can see the Atlantic Ocean jamming against the rocks, swirling, dancing round the little niches. Over centuries, this landscape has been battered by the ocean. Many ships have come aground here, and those who were stranded on these shores are known to the locals as blown-ins. You were a shipwreck here. You were not a local. You were blown in. You will never be a local either. This is Great Blasket Island. There was, until the 1920s, a small village on this island, and you can see the remnants of it today. The white buildings that you can see are now holiday cottages. The grey buildings are what are left of the original establishment. Each field would have its own name, and there are several thousand people living here at one time. The island in the background is called Inish Two-Skirt, or the man lying down. As you can see, looks like a man lying down. And at some point, the peoples of these islands needed a route back to the mainland. So at first, they chiselled rocks, carved them out of the cliff. But over time, as we've seen, the waves destroyed them. So somebody applied thousands of tons of concrete to the solution and built the Irish Atlantic Wall with this little zigzag path that leads down to the harbour. a magnificent construction, which is much required. As you can see, there is no easy access to the sea. And even this port has its own hazards when coming into dock. Here we can see a sea cave and a small zigzag path that was used once upon a time to reach these blue turquoise waters. World War II is referred to by the Irish as the emergency. Obviously they were a neutral country and did not take part in the Second World War. Or not officially anyways. Unofficially, they had plenty of these little lookout posts for U-boats on the western coast, and they would pass this information to the British to help them thwart the U-boat threat in the Atlantic. This is the most western tip of the Dingle Peninsula, and it's called Feaged Rock, I think. I don't really want to try and mispronounce Gaelic words again. When we were there, we went to a little cafe somewhere near to this location. Lovely little place, can't remember its name. And when we were there, I noticed everybody was speaking Gaelic in a very cute little way. And I can't really replicate it at all. And I thought, well, I'm English, I'm on a holiday. I should go and attempt to learn the local lingo, so I can go home and talk like a local. More than just an Irish accent would give you. And I went up there, this lovely little old lady had made us this lovely tea cake and tea, and asked her, how do you say thank you in Gaelic? And she said, oh, it's blah, 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 blah. And I thought, you what? That's like a sentence. That's not a word. It should be something short. Surely it'd be like tack or bib-bob. Something short and easy to do. Not something la 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 la. I've actually looked it up on the internet. It's this. I don't know how you pronounce that. But after learning this and reciting it in front of her for about 5 minutes, I finally said, thank you in English, for saying thank you for teaching me how to say thank you in Gaelic. So I didn't learn that lesson very well. So don't embarrass yourself, just speak English. They're fine with that. They're okay, it's happened, it's a long time ago, we moved on. Good things have happened since. We're all happy, and Dingle is the best pub in the world to sit down and sort out the world's problems. And if you can't sort them out, there's plenty of Guinness to drink as well, and many other alcoholic products, shall we say, that you can partake in order to refresh the mood and move on. This is the second lookout post on the Dingle Peninsula for U-boats. This one's a bit more dilapidated, but a bit larger as well. 2 buildings, the room upstairs, some smashed in windows. Lovely view. I mean, it'd be horrendous to have to man this in the winter though, because you can't normally see all that way across the bay to Mount Brandon. There's that lovely caldera effect again, made from the original supervolcano at the centre of this region that would have blasted this whole crater when these formations were made. Now we're going to progress out of the bunker and onto these little concrete steps, progressing up the steps carefully. And as most of you know, I'm rather scared of heights, really as a result of falling off a cliff and smashing my right leg to tiny pieces. So why I go and stand and look over tremendous precipices, I do not know. If you survived that fall, you're probably not going to get out of the ocean, because it's quite deep, and I mean, that's the Atlantic Ocean. Now, here we go.
This really isn't a safe place to be.
No,
I'm perched on the side of a cliff.
you fool. big, wide Atlantic Ocean. Nothing out there apart from America, so nothing out there at all. No signs of intelligence.
Let's go home.
Yes, let's. And if you like these cliff shots, I am going to put together another video of some much longer takes of cliffs and mountains, endless waves crashing over jagged rocks, and you can watch to your heart's content as the mystifying and mesmerizing Atlantic Ocean destroys the west of Ireland bit by bit. This giant crevice into the land looks as if it was made by the fingernail of Sauron himself. Although if we're in Skyrim, it should probably be some suitable Skyrim reference. Anyways, Sauron it is. Sauron's butthole. I don't think that's its real title. It's probably got one because they seem to name everything in Ireland. Every little bay and nook and cranny has got its own name and title. Every little pinnacle of rock. Half of them are not on maps, and if they are, you can't pronounce them, so you kind of just have to go to them and look at them. As you can see, they're very, very pretty places. You can't normally see it like this. It's normally wet and raining and cloudy. My dad's been coming here for 25 years, and he said many times, it's not normally like this, it's not normally like this, it's not called the Emerald Isle for nothing. It's normally pouring down with rain, normally waves 50 feet high crashing against these cliffs, which I'm sure looks equally impressive to watch, but I can find it kind of slightly mesmerizing to watch, so I did set up the camera a few times like this to just record the cliffs and the birds flying about and waves crashing against the rock. It reminds me of Shakespeare's Henry V, Act 3, Scene 1, I think it is. Let the brow o'erwhelm it, as fearfully as doth a golled rock hang and jutty its confounded base, swilled with the wild and wasteful ocean. Anyways, that's Shakespeare for you. You read it at school and it takes 15 years later until you actually understand it and go, oh, that's what he was on about. Right, okay. Gotcha. There's some wonderful people in these places on the Dingle Peninsula, though. You've got to go and see it to believe it. But a few to mention. I can't remember the chef's name, but the skipper in Ventry. The chef is French, and he speaks with an Irish accent, which is the weirdest combination you've ever experienced. But his mackerel salad is the best in the world. I cannot fault it. It was just sublime. Another lovely lady at the West Kerry Brewery, whose name I cannot even begin to remember or pronounce. I'll put it on the screen. There we go. Bjor. Either way, she's opened a lovely little brewery in Ballinferriter, so you must go and see that. You must pop in to see Dingle as well. I don't have any shots of Dingle. I'm a landscape photographer by trade, so get landscape shots and then talk over them. But Dingle, must go see. Best pub in the world. I think I've said that before. And if you get time, pop in to see Mary and Oliver at the Dingle Distillery, just outside on the fringes of the Dingle village, where you can sample the local gin, the local vodka, and soon you'll be able to sample the local whiskey. He claims it's the only Irish-owned Irish whiskey in the world. Thank you to everyone in the Dingle Peninsula for your warm welcome, fine food and excellent drinks. We shall return. And thank you for watching.